What is good, Slap City? We are back, and in this video, we're going to recap the main card for Power Slap 14. Before we get into it, I want to be clear that I'm going to be doing breakdowns like I always do, but in this video, this is strictly an audible recap. So if you're interested in that, stick around, pop your headphones in. If you're not looking for that and you're looking to see the slaps in the fight, go to the Power Slap YouTube page and you can watch the whole event for free. I'm going to be doing the prelims as well, but I decided to separate them to get this one out a little bit quicker. I've been really busy lately, and people that know me know that I have like 5 jobs, so I really do this as a hobby. Now, with all that out of the way, the main card of Power Slap 14 was absolutely incredible. This was the best card we've ever seen, in my opinion. 4 knockouts. Now, definitely some controversy, and a lot of controversy on the prelims as well, so, I mean, nothing new. We've seen it time and time again, and we'll continue to see it. So there was definitely some iffy reffing. What sucks is when people's money gets fucked with. That's one thing that I don't like about the structure of the contracts. Like, I completely get the fact that you want to give somebody an incentive to perform. So, like, the show and win, I get the theory behind it. But the problem is you absolutely fuck your fighters over when they get screwed on a foul. And if you're not going to hold the refs accountable, then the contracts should be restructured, in my opinion. Like in the UFC, and the UFC owns Power Slap, that contract structure works because the refs can affect the outcome of the fight in the UFC. Like they can, in a few different ways. But they're so few and far between, whereas like the refs can make or break a Power Slap fight. Like in every fight, they're going to have the chance to make or break the fight at some point in every match. So it's like, they're just not the same. And the frequency in which those occurrences happen is just so much higher in Power Slap. One thing that was clear with the reffing was that they were very lenient on flinching. No doubt about it. And not just in the first one. It wasn't just the Godfrey fight. And it's like, okay, if you're going to be lenient on flinching, then be lenient on flinching all the way through. Like with everybody. I really do think that there should be one ref that refs the entire main card and one ref that refs the prelims. There should be a head ref, and then there should be the backup ref, and it should be for the entire card. That's the only way to get more consistency, in my opinion. But yeah, anyway, with all that said, let's get into it. So, kicking off the main card, we had Cathey Kanakoa taking on Godfrey. Okay, so where do I even start with this one? The first time these guys met, it was one of the most controversial fights in Power Slap history. And this one didn't look that much different, man. It looked a lot similar. I've seen a ton of stuff online about the flinching. We're going to go over everything. I'm not even sure where to start. There was some good, and then there was some bad. So we'll start with the good. So Godfrey, I mean, holy shit. Who the actual fuck is eating that strike? Like, I will wait. I will be here waiting. You're going to have to knock this guy out to beat him. And in order to knock him out, you're going to have to hit him clean, which is a whole different story. And that is kind of a good segue into the bad part of this fight. So both guys ended up flinching in this one, but they only ended up calling the Chief. So in the first round, the Chief was slapping first, and Godfrey did the same thing that he's done in all of his fights. Now, it wasn't as bad as his previous two, but he's still moving on every strike. And we can all stop pretending that he doesn't know what he's doing. Like, come on, dude. And I've said in the past that as bullshit as it is, it's actually brilliant. I mean, there's literal strategy mechanics to the movement that make it very, very difficult to call in real time from the main ref. And then that just leaves it to the replay. And we all know that they just don't like overturning calls with replay. Like they will, I guess, sometimes, but the majority of the time, if it makes it to replay, that shit is sticking. And that's what happened here. So, like, he doesn't actually move his head. Like, his head ends up moving, obviously, but it starts at his base. He uses his knees to kind of lean back and fade away at a diagonal, like his right shoulder, backwards at a rightward diagonal. It kind of just takes you a tiny bit out of range. And when you do that, the line of sight from the ref who's supposed to call the flinch in real time is blocked. Now, I don't think it was the best strike either. His movement won't necessarily affect where it lands on your face. It's more how much of your hand lands. And so you'll see like on the side replay that when the Chief lands, it's basically just the top half of his palm and the fingers, which will make a good sound and could mark up your face, but it's not going to knock you out. especially not when you're above the chin. But there was definitely still clear movement there on the replay. Now, I was a little surprised by the Chief for a few reasons. First, I thought that he was going to throw a little bit deeper. Didn't really seem like he messed with the placement of where he was swinging at all. So I was a little surprised by that. I could be wrong about that. I just didn't see it. And then also, I was definitely surprised that he wasn't trying to plant the seed for a call. Because like the first time, he seemed to know that Godfrey moved. And he was like, fair blow, like in the first match. So he was definitely complaining in the first match, but he didn't complain here. Almost like he felt like he didn't flinch in the moment. It was less than normal. So maybe he didn't even realize he flinched in the moment. Like he was just kind of staring at him, nodding like, yeah, let's go. So I think that hurt the Chief because not only could it potentially get you a call when they review it, it could potentially also make them think that they fucked up by not calling it and then potentially let one of yours go later on in the fight. To me, the fair way to handle it would have been to either call the flinch on Darren and let the Chief get another crack at him, or let Chiefs go and then just proceed to round 2 and let him settle it from there. But anyway, the Chief strikes Godfrey. Godfrey does a fake little stumble back just for optics, which is, again, brilliant. This guy is clearly smart. Like, he has a brain. He knows exactly what he's doing, and it's fucking working. But yeah, so then Godfrey gets up for his turn in the first round, swings, the Chief flinches, and the Chief gets called for a flinch. Now, it was a flinch, but I was very confused by Beltran because he instantly took a point. The first flinch is supposed to be a warning, and then the second one, the ref can take a point. He straight up took a point on the first flinch, which is not how it's supposed to go, so I have no idea what he was doing there. He is the newest ref, but still, like, come on, dude. What the hell was that? Like, it didn't end up mattering, obviously, but if that went to a decision, he would have lost the point, and so you could fuck with somebody's win there. So yeah, that made no sense. That shouldn't have been like that. But anyway, Chief gets called for the flinch. It was the right call. He turned too early, and that's so much easier to notice. And so he got called for it and had to take another one, and then that was all she wrote. Godfrey hit him with another absolute hammer. Now, I saw a picture of the impact of the strike on Instagram, and he doesn't even hit the chin. And so it just shows the power that this guy has. He can put you out even if he doesn't touch your chin. Now, on the knockout blow, there was definitely some foot movement. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. They're trying to get rid of stepping. So as a striker, you just have to come to terms with the fact that they're not going to call this. Like, you're not going to get this call. In the post-fight, they said that they're still going to do the Brandon versus Isaiah trilogy. I wouldn't be surprised if, with no timeline on Bordeaux, if he's not ready to go by the Vegas card in October, don't be surprised if they put an interim title on the line in Abu Dhabi between Godfrey and Isaiah, because they're going to have 2 events in 1 month. And there's not that many titles, and there's not that many contenders. So, I mean, if Bordeaux's able to go in October, then they'll just straight up do the trilogy between him and Isaiah. And then for the Chief, I honestly have always thought that the Chief could potentially mix things up at 170. He's not a small middleweight, but he's not the biggest middleweight either. So if he could make 170, think of all the matchups. Like, imagine the Chief versus Babyface, the Chief versus KO Chris, the Chief versus Azael. And so who knows what he'll do. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that. I mean, that's probably what I would do, just to switch things up. You can always go back up to 185. Yeah, who knows? We'll see what he does. He'll definitely be back. And then next, we had the return of Turp Daddy Slim, Austin Turpin, taking on Vernon Cathey in a rematch from Power Slap 8. The last time we had seen Turpin, and that was a while ago, man. And what a way to come back. You can't write a comeback much better than this, my friends. So this fight actually took place at heavyweight. From what I understand, there was no specific weight within the heavyweight range that they had to be at. There might have been an unwritten rule where, hey, come in around this weight, but props to Vern Cathey for taking the fight at heavyweight. But anyway, so yeah, Turp Daddy Slim has to take the first strike because he missed weight in his last match at Power Slap 8. And so comes out and Vern hits him with a good shot, but Turp Daddy just munches on it. Absolutely munches on it. It was a good strike. It was a little bit above the button. Like, he kind of missed the chin there a little bit. But it was a good, powerful strike nonetheless. And Turp Daddy Slim, I mean, this guy has a chin, like, and it was like the classic, haha moment when he took it and he was just like, oh shit, boy. I actually had a ton of action on Austin Turpin, and I actually had action on the under 3.5 slaps in this match. I posted about this on my Instagram, but I didn't say it in this video yet, but I ended up hitting a 7-leg parlay, and it was all over under slaps. And I had the under 3.5 here, and it ended up hitting because Turpin was able to get him out of there after the first flinch. But anyway, so yeah, Turpin eats the first strike from Cathey, gets back up there, lands an absolute hammer right on Vern's chin, and Vern ended up getting called for a flinch. So had to take another one after being absolutely rocked. I mean, shout out to Vern for even taking that first strike. Like, say what you want, but that first strike was a massive shot, and Vern was able to take it. So much respect to Vern, the mechanic on this side. There was just no way he was taking a second one, man. And they both hit right on the chin. Even the first one hit right on the chin. It wasn't the worst flinch I've ever seen. I do think that it was a flinch. I just don't think it was like a huge flinch. But yeah, anyway, hits him right on the button, puts him out. We'd never seen a knockout like that. I mean, he was slumped over on the table. We had seen Vern do that to somebody else, Delvin Hamlet, I believe. He put him out somewhat cold, and Delvin was like leaning over the table, but not face first. Like, Turp always says he's going to take Wolverine back to Cousin Kissing County. He's going to be taking people to Table Kissing County with that strike if he keeps landing that shit on people's chin. Tough break for Vern. I'm sure he'll be back. So we'll see where he goes from here. And then for Turp, there's one fight. For Wolverine, there's one fight. It's the trilogy. Austin Turpin versus Wolverine 3. It has to happen. They're 1-1. I mean, there's just no other fight. Russell doesn't deserve a rematch after that last one. Luke was arguably the number one contender, should have got that fight and didn't, and then ended up losing to Klingbeil. So he's out for now. And then Klingbeil, he did get the win over Luke, ended up losing the one before that. So to me, there's only one fight. And I think that's what they'll do. I think you'll see that in October. I think that Wolverine definitely probably won't want to go overseas. But then again, he went overseas last time because they specifically asked for him. So who knows? But what I do know is that you'll see that in October. I guarantee it. Turp is going to have to make 205, which he hasn't done in a while. But I mean, shit, you already see him on Instagram, man. He's grinding. He's going to make 205. And I even said it when I reacted to his announcement the first time of him coming back. I said, like, people replied to my post and said, oh, he won't show up. And I guaranteed them that he would show up because you could see in his eyes that he was serious. And yeah, this is a serious, motivated Turp Daddy Slim. I guarantee he'll make 205, and I guarantee you'll see that fight with Wolverine in October. So yeah, shout out to both guys. It's amazing to see Turp Daddy Slim back in the mix. Power slap is better with him. And then next we had Robert Trujillo defending his belt against Dakota McGregor in a rematch from a fight that we saw not too long ago. And it didn't look that much different, although it didn't go as long. The first one went all 5 rounds, and this one not so much. So, damn, dude. Robert Trujillo, another dominant win. That's been a theme with him his whole career. He's had dominant wins. He's looking unstoppable. Like, at this point, it's hard to even imagine a world where he loses from what we've seen. Now, Dakota struggled to find his chin again in this one. It's proven to be very difficult. Only one person has hit Trujillo perfectly right on the button. And it was only one time, and it was Joel Scott before he got absolutely slept. And Trujillo still ate that. So, yeah, I'm not really sure who's going to beat him. I think that it's probably time that you let him move up. But anyway, so Dakota comes out. He was striking first, and in the first round, ends up clipping Trujillo right in the nose. That was pretty gnarly. And for a second there, it looked like they might stop it. I mean, I'm no doctor, but hard to imagine that shit wasn't broken. And it wouldn't stop bleeding. And like, obviously Trujillo wasn't going to give up. No way. It looked a little dicey there for a second. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a decent amount of people that bet on Robert Trujillo that were shitting their pants there for a second, thinking they might stop that. But anyway, so yeah, that wasn't Dakota's fault. I mean, Trujillo, he tends to move a little bit before he gets hit. He knows exactly how much you can move without getting called for a flinch, and it's worked. But Dakota knew that going in, so he definitely needed to adjust where he threw a strike. And so that was the reason that happened. I don't think it was the best strike from Dakota either, but when you miss a little bit short and connect a little bit high, there's nothing to stop your hand from just swiping across the front of their face. And that's exactly what happened here. And he just nailed his nose. That shit must have hurt so bad. So yeah, it wasn't Dakota's fault. That was just an unfortunate situation. But they end up letting it go, and then Trujillo lands a fucking hammer on Dakota, and Dakota just shows why he has the best recovery in power slap. Like, he is unreal at recovering. Absolutely elite. And he just continues to do it time and time again. You're going to have to put this guy out completely cold to get him to stop coming forward and to stop coming back. And that's ultimately what Trujillo did. But crazy heart from McGregor. That kid is fearless. He's willing to go out on a shield, which you cannot teach, man. Some people are built like that and some people aren't. And we've definitely seen some people that aren't come into power slap and they never last. But he is. So much respect to McGregor. The reason Trujillo was able to get him out of there this time was because of the adjustments that he made on offense. He was adjusting where he was throwing his hand to account for the movement that was evident on film from their first match. Dakota was dipping when he was getting hit. Those are championship adjustments that you have to be able to make if you want to be the champ. So that was part of the reason why I was a little bit surprised about the Chief when he didn't seem to adjust where he was throwing his hand. It's the same type of deal. Like in golf, you don't putt a straight line to the hole. You putt where the ball needs to be to end up at the target. And that's basically the same thing in power slap. People don't even realize how similar those two sports are as far as like the precision and accuracy and mechanics. Like, there's so many similarities. But anyway, yeah, so puts him out cold with an absolute hammer. Now, in the previous fight, Trujillo was definitely pushing the limits of the heel lift and pivot rule. You're allowed to pivot after contact, and you're allowed to lift your heels before and after contact. So I've mentioned it in the past. They're trying to get rid of stepping, and one of the ways that they do that is by throwing that caveat in there that it can be after contact, because it makes it basically impossible to call in real time without having that instant slow motion replay and being able to stop it at the point of contact like I do in my breakdowns. Now on the replay, he definitely moved his foot. And so, yeah, definitely going to need a breakdown to be able to see, whether that movement was premature or not. And I'm sure we'll end up doing that at some point. If you want to get in on the voting for breakdown orders, go follow me on Instagram at SlapCity with 3 Ps. But for now, I mean, damn, dude, another dominant win. I think that now's the time to let him go up and challenge Babyface. Like, you need to give time to the other contenders in the division, like a DeFrank or a Dakota, to keep progressing and get to the point where they can actually give Trujillo like a legitimate run for his money. And so, yeah, now's the time. Let him go up. And there's no clear contender at 170 either. So, yeah, I think that's what you do. I wasn't expecting it to end that early. Like, if it did end in a finish, I thought that it would probably come in the later rounds, maybe the championship rounds. But shit, Trujillo was able to get him out of there, man. And we'll see Dakota again. Couple more knockouts, and he'll be right back in that mix. And then, last but not least on the main card, we had Damian DeBell defending his belt against Wes Mena. So, I mean, Damian DeBell, he looks unstoppable, in my opinion, pound for pound, number one in all of power slap. And a couple more title defenses, and he will be the sitting GOAT. Until Dorian Perez fought him, no one's even been able to touch him. No one's been able to make him react to strikes. Wes Mena, he comes out and takes the first strike from DeBell. He had a roll with it, like it was very close to being a flinch. It was so well timed. If you thought that was a flinch, like, okay, I think that he might have gotten warned on that because he didn't do it on the second one. And yeah, DeBell landed clean. Wes Mena, now we've seen the power from Wes Mena, but I was very impressed with him on offense. I thought that he landed a good strike and he got a reaction out of DeBell. And not many people have been able to, so that was a plus for Mena. If you look at the replay, I think they showed the side replay, which was a good one. It showed that he was high on DeBell. He didn't hit him right on the chin, but he was able to get a reaction landing up on his cheek. So I don't think that Mena fought a bad fight. I think that he just fought the literal best. He's still in the mix, but has some work to do if he wants to beat DeBell. Anyway, on the second one, DeBell comes back and lands right on the button, man. It was a perfect strike, and not many people are fucking eating that, dude. Like, it's nothing to hang your head about. So many people, so many top fighters have gone out against DeBell. The only fight to make for both guys next is a rematch for Dorian for DeBell, and then you have to make that Wes Mena versus Pono Pao fight. It's a grudge match. Everyone wants to see it, and for Mena, like, that's a win where you could get right back in the picture. And then if Pao were to win, definitely would get a title shot off that. So yeah, that one needs to happen. I think it's a great fight, and then the rematch between Perez and DeBell. I think that's what you do at heavyweight. We had Aaron Turner get a good win on the card, which was good. The heavyweight division is looking like one of the toughest, if not the toughest division in power slap right now. You also had Zakir get a bullshit win, but we'll save that for the prelims. And yeah, anyway, the main card was ridiculous. The best card we've ever seen in power slap, in my opinion. And I don't even know if it's close, to be honest with you. Look out for the prelim recaps. We have plenty of time. We have a huge break in between now and the next power slap, which sucks, but it is what it is. So yeah, until next time, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.